Ngā mihi nui kia koutou katoa. Ko Kim Jones toku ingoa, no whāngarei ahau, he kaimahi ahau no Mountains to Sea Conservation Trust. Kim Jones, Poutoka Manawa, co-director for freshwater at Mountains to Sea, and really grateful to be here. Mountains to Sea, EOS Ecology and our Wai Connection project are really happy to be supporting this kaupapa, this conference, and a huge thanks to everybody that's done a heap of mahi behind the scenes, pulling it all together. For example, helping to run this session, thanks to Juliette. Yeah, I think everybody here within this community does really important, amazing work, so thank you everybody. Today I'll be covering a bit of an introduction on Mountains to Sea and the Wai Connection project, what's been achieved so far and how, and some of the challenges and learnings and what's next. So Wai Connection, Tatai Ki Te Wai is a Mountains to Sea catchment community group engagement and support project, and it's funded largely through the Ministry for the Environment's Essential Freshwater Fund. It's delivered nationally through a range of partners and providers. It's community-led. It was launched in 2023, and its core philosophy is that many of the solutions to today's freshwater management challenges are often held within communities themselves. And collaboration aids in finding these solutions and ensuring that they are enduring. So let's build on the ground support to build capacity and capability in freshwater management at catchment community scale. The project structure and approach is a community-centred model by locals for locals. There's a focus on building capacity and capability at scale through connection to people and place, the ripple effect, with an emphasis on community involvement in freshwater management and fostering of equity and collaboration, and kotahitanga, which is the theme of this conference. So we've created this network of provider organisations around the country, operating kind of like a non-for-profit franchise, building capacity capability both ways. This is how we've always operated, but most recently through partnership with MFE and EOS Ecology, we've been able to offer up the project working with catchment groups and their wider communities from Mountains to Sea, offering up a really wide range of different programs, activities and services that have been developed over the last 20 years. But first of all, working really hard to actually understand what the needs are within each region and each catchment group that we're working with. Who's already working there and how, so that we can collaborate effectively and add value, go slow at the start to go fast. We've achieved quite a bit in the first year of the project, including, we had a goal initially of being able to provide direct support to up to 100 catchment groups. So we're at 193 after the first year, in 9 regions with 44 FTE boots on the ground through coordinators and connectors embedded in communities, and over 15,000 individuals having been engaged in that capacity and capability building. You can, if you're interested in a bit more of what's been achieved so far, there's a really detailed 1-year report that's available at our trade stand downstairs if you wanted to have a look, or even take one away. Some of the key initiatives that we've been offering up in our regionally tailored packages of support include various programs and frameworks that we've developed over the last 20 years, as well as some new initiatives such as the Focus Catchment Map series that Shelley McMurtry from EOS Ecology will talk more on later. Part of the building block foundation and reason that we've been able to roll out at pace and scale is that we've been able to build on 20 years of hard mahi relationships and lived experience. Mountains to Sea is the kaupapa that we work within. I'm sure many of you here work in a Mountains to Sea context. My journey within that context started quite early in my career when I realised that when working in this space, it's all about connections. Ecological connections, connections between people, and connections between people and their why. That's the WHY and the WAI. So I'm always really curious about what people's why is. What's your why? Why do you work in this space? For me, after some really steep learning curve life experiences and becoming a mum in 2004, that's when I made a decision to start a career in environmental management and conservation. believing that that would be really worthwhile because I'd found a new really compelling why in becoming a mum, and I really wanted to help move the needle in terms of contributing to building a bright future. Now, while studying, and I'm sure a lot can relate, you learn about all this new knowledge, information, get these new experiences, but sometimes it occurs to you that the way to really help move that needle there was to actually turn all of that information and experience into action. Because for me and my why, just gaining this knowledge and learning about ecological connections as well as the many, many ways in which humans can impact the environment, both positive and negative, well, none of it really mattered unless it was being put into action. So I'm really grateful that towards the end of those studies, I started volunteering with Mountains to Sea. And through that, found a pathway for turning it into action. The Trust has this vision of thriving freshwater and marine environments that are protected and restored by connected communities. And in order to realise that vision, we recognise that it takes a formula of information, experience and action. Now, what's critical here is that within that information and experience part, a whole lot of connections are made. Without that, things don't tend to move into action. So you often can't have one without the other. The information, it goes both ways. Nobody knows everything, so it's about building collective knowledge and recognising that when we all work together, we can solve the issues that we face today. In fact, when you think about it from a Mountains to Sea perspective, it truly is the only way forward. So over the years, we've developed this wide range of different programs, activities and frameworks that follow that ethos, and we offer them up open source. There's loads of community engagement, capacity, capability building services on offer. This list isn't exhaustive, but it kind of gives you an idea of what it might look like. And some of the things that we've been able to elevate and disseminate through the Wai Connection project and network. One of the founding flagship programs that we've developed and I've been heavily involved in over the years is the Wai Connection Programme. And I'm going to show you a short video now of our Hawke's Bay-based provider organisation who've just recently become a provider organisation thanks to the Wai Connection project and have offered up the program as part of their tailored package of support in the region.
So basically the kaupapa of Wai Connection is to talk to our tamariki about our waterways, and just the more we know, the more we understand how important it is to pick up our rubbish, to plant trees in the right places so that we've got nice shade over our waterways, we've got erosion held back on banks. It's just, I think, basically for children to understand that little actions can lead to big results, and it's a real collective effort.
Today we are trying to find White Bay and looking at the fresh water.
And why is it important to be doing these things?
So the fish there are safe to and we could plant trees to help it.
And why plant trees? What does that do?
It holds back the dirt so it doesn't go into the river.
We've got an amazing catchment group, so the Pongahe Catchment Group is just such an amazing, they're famous, all the kids know about them. So clearly they're doing a great job in bringing the community along this journey, and we really wanted to bring the two schools of the catchment together. So we've got Flemington up the top of the catchment, Porongaho down the bottom of the catchment, because this is the next generation of kids coming through. So these are our future farmers, our future leaders. We've got the kids who have got their tupuna and all their maturanga being passed to them, so that together the future is a collective approach.
And are you having fun?
Yeah.
Yes. What's fun about it?
When we get to catch stuff with the net, we caught a little white bait, an inanga, and I saw a little baby eel.
You saw an eel?
Yeah, and I saw a little bit of
You saw a whitebait? Wow. Did you see anything, Emily?
a couple of snails.
It's just a very sort of holistic program, I think, and that it brings fun to it, but talks about the entire river system.
If you're keen to learn more about that program or any of our mahi, please come and see us downstairs in the trade stand. So community-based monitoring is another key service that our teams can support catchment and community groups with. Through our Wai Connection project alone, we've now supported over 200 catchment groups in 13 regions across the country. Over half of those catchment groups are doing their own community-based monitoring. We've seen time and time again its effectiveness at bringing communities together around the why, bringing the tools to better understand what is happening in the ecosystem and introduces that whole of catchment approach, mountains to sea. We've also seen time and time again a need for a national GIS-based tool that aids collection, interpretation and visualisation of community-based monitoring data that has associated quality assurance, quality control, metadata and frameworks so it can be used by catchment groups and landowners to answer their questions, make land management decisions, and to also fill data gaps for others in the wider catchment, including people such as yourselves. And so through Wai Connection, we are working with the Ministry for the Environment, EOS Ecology, Datacom, and many others to try and create that tool too, which Shelley will be talking more about later today. We're really keen to talk to anyone here who may want to find out more and collaborate on that as well. So one of the added benefits with the project is that we have been able to partner with EOS Ecology, who are also a provider organisation down in Canterbury. We've been able to partner with them on a national scale, and they've developed some new resources that are really valuable to our teams and the communities that they serve, as well as more widely on the Wai Connection website, some of which you can see up on the screen here, including the essential freshwater summary, eDNA guides and reports, and focused catchment map series. Of course, with a project of this scale, there were some challenges and learnings in the first year, including, one they actually don't have up here is that there's lots of different definitions for what a catchment group is. To us, that's quite a broad definition. Anybody that's basically working together for freshwater in their catchment. Thank you. Regional onboarding delays. Our delivery model involved undertaking regional needs assessments in each catchment before starting delivery of a tailored package of support. These regional needs assessments were led by the provider organisations themselves, and in some new regions where our relationship with the provider organisation was quite new, it took longer. So we had to incorporate adaptive strategies such as ensuring that we were partnering with provider organisations that already had undertaken needs assessments of the catchment communities that they were already supporting, and held really, really strong relationships with them so that we could help to accelerate that existing mahi and help to fill resource gaps as well. As a non-for-profit trust, we haven't always had a lot to put into marketing and communications, but through this project have learned a lot about the importance of front-footing this, especially in a project of this scale, so that we could lead the narrative out there about what the project is and what it isn't, especially to those that weren't directly involved. So what next? Continued support for the rollout and relationships within the network, development of decision-making tools such as evaluation and community-based freshwater monitoring, helping to build and maintain that momentum, sharing stories and demonstrating the ongoing need for long-term place-based community catchment coordinators and connectors, and a fit-for-purpose community-based freshwater monitoring tool. Ngā mihi, thanks for listening.